Welcome to episode 5 of As the Wheel Wills with the Reading Rainstorm. As always, I got my good friend Tim Sanders on the phone as we deep dive into episode 5. And not gonna lie, this is where it is starting to lose me, as I'm sure many of the audience members who are watching the show currently have experienced themselves. Just to be candid with you, we are caught up to episode 6, and we have finished the 5th book of The Wheel of Time. So right now, I'm kind of feeling like Olaf, in Frozen 2 when Elsa pushes him away and he starts to get that feeling deep down of anger for the first time. I was hopeful throughout the first 3 episodes, and on to episode 5, this is where it just kind of blew up and completely lost me.
It's funny, Kevin mentions he feels like Olaf, because I feel like the story is being told by Olaf. For those listeners at home with kids and Disney Plus, there is a series where Olaf describes different Disney stories, and while the main is there, he tends to exaggerate and elaborate and embellish a little bit. If you've seen Frozen 2, it's the scene where he's telling the Wilders about what happened in Frozen 1. And I feel like that's where we're starting to get with this show.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Honestly, I'm going to do one more reference. I'm going to do Forge and Fire. There comes to a point where maybe a competitor does something that they weren't supposed to, didn't meet parameters, whatnot, and a blade can't be tested to the equivalent of the other blades that were presented, and they ask that person to leave. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. This series now has kind of gone off in its own path to the point where it's almost too hard to compare to the books.
I feel like the biggest issue is the main character is not the Two Rivers folk. The main character in the series is Moraine.
See, like I don't even see that. Like if you had to ask me right now who's the main character, I think I would agree with you and I would lean towards Moraine, but they haven't really focused in on anyone yet. Like it's all over the place.
No, I would agree. However, Moraine is getting more screen time and character development than the others are.
True. I mean, I think honestly, Steppen had more character development than Rand.
Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, I said Steppen has more character development than Rand did, or Matt,
correct,
for that matter. And he's not even a person in the book.
Correct. Steppen is something else right now. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, dead is what he is.
You're not wrong.
So, right off the rip, so this episode starts off continuation from 3, but it's 1 month later. They just, screw everything else that the book built up. We're just gonna 1 month later, and it puts us right into book 2. So episode 6 is called The Flame of Telviran, and that's the first chapter in book 2. That's the name of the first chapter, name of episode 6. So, I mean, we go 1 month in the future, we screw up pretty much any story building that book 1 had put together, and we just jump right into Telviran. We meet the Amerlin seat, and we see the White Tower. Very disappointing. Very, very disappointing.
Yeah, once I saw that they were in. Once I saw that they were there.
I'm sorry, Tarvalin, not Telviran, Tarvalin.
Yeah.
My bad. Screwed those two up.
Once they got to Tarvalin, I was upset, and then they went into Tarvalin, and I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like Tamlin, in the books. So maybe they're just combining the two, which they ended up doing. They made Tarvalin Tamlin, and they just completely cut out Queen Morgase and her entire section in the book. Yeah, so we're missing Queen Morgase, we're missing Gawain and Galadin, we're missing Galahad, my bad. We're missing Elaine. So we jumped right into a whole lot of things. We had the Dragon Reborn paraded through the streets just like he was in Camelin. We meet Loial, who...
So when you say that they combined Camelin and Tar Valon, is that just you pointing that out, or did they actually say that?
No, that's just me connecting the dots. So about that time, they should be in Camelin.
Yeah.
Camelin.
Camelin.
Yeah.
Camelin and Queen Morghese. Morgase. I love
that's
it.
That's the difference between reading it and listening to it, folks.
Facts. Facts.
So, the Dragon Reborn is paraded through the streets of Camelin, and Mat and Rand watch him. In Camelin is where they meet Loial in the inn that Tom told them to go to. So that all happened in Tar Valon.
Right. Okay, so that makes sense, and I can see it, the connection there.
So they just kind of skipped Camelin and went straight to Tar Valon.
Right. And since you already brought him up, the anger that I felt when they presented Loial to us in episode 5, just right off the rip, hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Where are his droopy eyebrows?
His droopy eyebrows, his height, his Ogier, or not, sorry, he is an Ogier, by the way, Ogier and Builders, dual reference, and Trolloc-likeness. I mean, Rand was scared when he first met him.
Yeah. Now, what I do like is how they got his voice, though. So his appearance is absolute garbage.
Yes.
But the actor's voice is really good.
Really, really good. I would completely agree with that. Even I forget who the voice actor is for the book. Pretty close to how he sounds listening to the series. So I listen to it. I have the books. I read them. I'm watching the show. To be honest, I do this podcast with Tim. My wife is fed up with The Wheel of Time. I'm just gonna let you guys know. Pretty much my life right now. But yeah, the voice was great. The appearance sucked, just awful. They go on further to say in the book that some cities were even built to allow for the builders to do their things. Streets were wider so that they could have the ability to walk around freely. Not the case. Not the case in the show.
No, Loial is supposed to draw eyes wherever he goes. But really, you throw a cloak on him and he's going to blend in just as well as any blacksmith should.
Yeah, no kidding. He's he's slightly larger than Perrin at this point. So when they enter Tar Valon, finally for the first time we get one of the curse words in the show. Tim, do you know what it is? Like, give me all the curse words. Blood and bloody ashes. Blood, bloody, flame, flaming, ashes, ashes, ash. Blood, bloody, flaming, ashes to ash. Those are all the curse words, and they've been repeated up to this point so many times that you kind of get sick of them. But finally, honestly, though, Rand says it.
Every time I read one in the book, it makes me smile.
Yeah. I mean, Matt says it pretty much every other, page that he's in. He references blood, ashes, whatever. He's a sulky little boy.
I like that. I like that specific call out to the book. The show is doing this weird thing where it's getting some things just spot on, and then it's just, I don't know, pretending other things don't exist.
Right. Yeah.
And completely wrong.
Yeah. Example. The meeting of Loial and Rand. Rand wasn't scared. That was, in his appearance, yada, yada. But that whole meeting took place almost identical to how it happened in the book. He mistook him for an Aielman because of his hair and his skin. Just the hair, really. The red hair being a key indicator of Aielman. And then at that point, he was the one who referenced Mat and Rand to be Talviren. He kind of connected the dots and told them about that. as to what they were. So like that little moment happened almost spot on.
Yeah, and then it does other things like make Perrin's golden eyes only golden when he's talking to the wolf at the very end of the episode.
Right. When he was talking to the wolves, or when he like was calling the wolves, or whatever, when that piece of him was finally forced out of him through the torture that this new White Cloak to the show, not to this books, Iman Valda, was torturing him. Also, it should have been Lord Bornhold that was the one who captured and threatened his life, because he killed 2 White Cloaks at this point, not because he was associated to Egwene. So, again, another main character in the series that has multiple times through gets put back into it. Lord Bornhold, where's he?
Yeah, because he plays a big part later on in book 4.
And he might have been the leader of the pack when the questioner split off. To be honest, I didn't catch his name.
I don't remember him either, but he wasn't enough to remember Perrin.
Regardless, he should have been there, and there's a huge moment that was just completely glossed over, which is again frustrating. And yeah, Perrin's eyes, they don't flash yellow; they stay yellow.
Correct. And then while Perrin, they do get captured by the White Cloaks. They're supposed to be set free, partially because Lord Bornhold decides that there's other important things and is a little lackadaisical with them, and partly because Lan and Moiraine come in and just kick some ass.
Yeah, major distraction, and they escape. So,
correct.
Yeah, massive moments in time that were completely missed. Another little key thing that they got right, though, was Liandrin's plot, or coup, that she is starting within the White Tower to either overthrow the Amyrlin seat or to get Moiraine to confess to what she's doing and get the Amyrlin seat to discipline Moiraine.
God, do I love their casting for Liandrin, too.
Honestly, I like their casting for the Amyrlin also. I thought that was pretty good.
I pictured her older.
No.
Later on in the book, that she de-ages about 10 years. So I just pictured her a little bit older.
Sure, yeah.
A little bit more wise, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
For whatever reason, I pictured her a little plumper.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, no, I like it. I like where they went with her. Honestly, when she was sitting
I'm not upset with it. Yeah, I just pictured her older and a little plumper.
Right.
Not quite like fat, but not like as thin as they have her.
Yeah. Fair enough. When she was sitting in her seat, she kind of reminded me from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the futuristic guy with her. I don't know. She kind of looked, like that. That was really funny.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, like the rest of this episode really focused it around the warders, Lan and Steppen, and kind of really focused in on the connection that they have with their Aes Sedai, and played that home a little too hard, to be honest.
Way too hard.
They did the whole funeral where they dress in white, or not funeral. I guess the burning of the ring, or the melting of the ring back into the pool where they obviously create them. So there was that whole scene. And then obviously, like we prefaced already, Steppen takes his own life because the connection is so deep between the Aes Sedai and their warders. Which leads us to
none of this.
Right. And that leads us to a second funeral for Steppen. And it's maybe a warder funeral is what I'm going to call it. Air quotes, because there's some kind of weird chanting that they do, and then someone told Lan to relieve them of their pain, and then they start doing some kind of Wolf of Wall Street chant, hitting their chests, and Lan screams a couple times. I don't know what he was supposed to relieve everybody of, but I don't think it worked.
No, if anything, it made it worse.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, if anything, it made it worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that entire scene made me... So, I'm a purist. I'm absolutely a purist at heart, you know. And that entire scene was a throwaway line in the books. You know, it mentions, some warders take their own lives after their Aes Sedai die. And it was like a line like that in the books.
Mm-hmm.
That turned into like, what, a quarter to half an episode?
Oh, at least a quarter of it, yeah.
You know, and we're only running eight episodes this season. So, pick up a quarter of an episode on something that didn't happen is huge. You know, when you could be looking at the different qualities that each of the Two Rivers folk have. You know, they're supposed to be like super good friends, and we really haven't focused on their friendship much after the first episode.
True. Very, very true.
You know, there's been little snippets here and there, but it reminds me of Star Wars. You know, you're watching the prequel series. You get to the very end, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, "You were my brother," and you think, and they didn't really do anything in the movies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they like other things that they could have focused on a little bit more of that, you know, let us know more about the characters. Nynaeve. This episode had a little bit about her, you know, in the beginning when she first gets to the White Tower by herself after the epic heal, and still nothing about her inability to channel until she's enraged. There's no novices, there's no apprentices, there's no hustle and bustle in the White Tower. Like where's the mistress of novices? Where are the apprentices? Why hasn't Nynaeve drinking that crazy drink that, you know, basically makes her go from nothing to an apprentice right away? Like,
these are all questions that I'm wondering myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no development. So actually, that's a good point. Let's take them separately. You know, like we said, the show has kind of gone off in its completely own direction at this point. Let's just talk about it. You know, forget the books. Let's talk about it from a show perspective. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the show now?
It's starting to lose me. I don't care about any of the characters, and I'm a big character guy. Like, if I don't like the characters, the show can be super entertaining, but if I don't like the characters, I'm out. And because we're not getting any character development, I don't really care about the characters. You know, Perrin isn't talking. He has some super cool stuff that he could be, doing. He could be grieving about his wife. You know, there's a lot of things that he could be doing, but he's just not.
Right. Yeah.
This mystery of who the Dragon Reborn, I don't really like, but that's also, I have a real hard time separating the show from the books. So looking at it just as a show not connected to the books, I have a real hard time doing.
Well, we're not supposed to. It's supposed to be a retelling of the books. It's supposed to be the cinematic version of the book. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And to your points, spot on to what I feel. It's jumping around so much and it's skipping so much that there is no love for any of the characters that we have. There's no development of any of the characters. Like, I could care less if Steppen died. Honestly, I could care less if any of them died at this point. Like, who cares? I don't know any of them. Like, taking all my knowledge of the book away, like, I'm left with a pretty shell of a show at this point.
Yeah, the show is absolutely beautiful. It is super well shot.
Agreed.
You know, hats off to the team that did all the scouting and everything and the set building and all of that stuff. Because let me tell you, every time I watch it, I just go, wow. With the exception of Loyal, whoever designed Loyal can.
Absolutely agreed. Yep, the cities look beautiful. The scenescapes and the overshots, like the big panoramic views of the cities, the Trollocs, the Even the weaving of the pattern is nice, except for people shouldn't be able to see it, which pisses me off still. Yeah, cinematically, great show. Character development, story-wise, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, if I'm just looking at it as like a piece of like visual art that I'm not supposed to be listening or feeling anything, like if you just got rid of all of this talking and all the people, it would be a visual piece of art.
Right. So I think honestly, maybe after the show is completely done, me and you or myself should just do a retelling of the story, just of the actual story, The Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, and how it plays out, chapter by chapter. But for right now, here's what we're gonna do. I got some massively missed plot points up to this point, and correct me or fill in anything that I do not. So here's what I have. We got Min and her auras that she sees around people. The re-encounter with Padan Fain, Elias Machira teaching Perrin about the wolves, Steddings and the history of the Ogier, Hopper and the Wolf Dream and Hopper dying and the capture by Lord Bornhold, and Perrin executing 2 White Cloaks, Camlin, where the false dragon was supposed to be paraded around. We haven't touched at all on the significance of Rand's heron-marked blade, even if he does have it or not. I don't know. I don't think they've ever even touched base on the heron-marked blade yet. Loyal marks Rand as a Tal'Viren. He did mark him as an Aielman, but not Tal'Viren. Meeting of Elaine, Egwene, Morghese, Gawain, and Galahad, and Elida, all in Caemlyn. And Moraine asking Loyal to open up the ways to go to Faldara. That's a little bit touching on episode 6, that last one.
Yeah. That's definitely. I've been trying to keep all of episode 6 that I just watched today out of this episode. But yeah, that's pretty accurate. Nothing that I can think of you're missing.
Yeah. So yeah, again, big plot points missed. Cinematically, great show. Sort of.
Yeah. Cinematically, I love it. It very much so reminds me of cinematically Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh yeah, I can see it. But give us some love for the characters, damn it.
Correct. Like Breakfast Club me a little bit here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they could have spent some time just doing some episodes of literally just talking where maybe one thing happens. Like not every single episode something dramatic or something big has to happen, but like get some character development.
That's all that I'm asking for. I don't feel like I'm asking for much, but make me care about these characters.
So there you have it, everybody. Episode 5, we're really getting away from the book. Really getting away from it, and it is starting to become a little depressing as to what we were expecting and what we were hoping for, especially from the first 3 episodes. I mean, they started off so good, and it is starting to become a little bit of a letdown. Season 2 is already spoken for. Casting has already been there's a couple snippets that you can get for who's being casted as what character, and you can learn a little bit more online. But other than that, this is the Reading Rainstorm. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and listening to our take on the Wheel of Time, Amazon Prime, Eye of the World special. See you in the next episode, and as always, you can check us out at readingrainstorm.com and see everything else that we've been up to. With that, we'll cue the music.